Hi, all is well everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel Calculus Academy. I will be dealing with here 10 standard CBSE mathematic portions. Everything related with solved example, previous questions, exercises, RD Sharma textbook, everything we will be dealing with here. So please support, like and share. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So, chapter 1 is real numbers. Before coming to the topic real numbers, we have to know the basic things before what all number patterns are there. We have to study them. First is the basic thing. You know the counting numbers. Which are the counting numbers? 1, 2, 3, etc. etc. Up to which number? Up to which number? We don't know what is the last number. So, we generally we will call it as infinity. This is the symbol of infinity. Infinity means a countless number. So the numbers which are starting from 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity, it will fall in the natural number category. N. Natural number, we call it as natural number. If a zero is added to these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to same numbers till infinity, we can call it as whole numbers. So only difference between whole number and natural number is the addition of a zero. We generally represent it as W. Another category of numbers is if we are considering a number line, we know this is central part is 0. We have studied now 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. If we are placing a mirror in the right side, we can see the same number in the left hand side. But this is not a real number. This will be an imaginary number. So we can represent it as -1, -2, -3, etc. up to negative infinity. Okay. So these numbers which include the positive number, 0 and negative number, we can generally call it as integers. We represent it as capital Q. So integers are the numbers which we can represent from negative infinity to plus infinity. Okay, so natural number, whole number, integer. Then another category of number is there. For example, if, let me rub this first. So if I'm saying 2x plus 3 is equal to 4. So what, how we will find this x? Obviously, you know 2x is equal to 4 and this plus 3, when it comes to the right hand side, it will become minus 3 and is equal to 1. So 2x is 1. So what do you mean by x? X is equal to 1 and as this is multiplication at the left hand side, it will come in the right hand side as division. 1 divided by 2. But we haven't dealt with such a type of question now because we have studied natural number which is 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. Then we have studied whole number which is 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinity. Then we have studied integer numbers or I also you can represent, which is from negative infinity to positive infinity, negative infinity and from positive infinity. So these are the numbers which we can write as a ratio. We have studied the ratio, means numerator by denominator. Suppose if my question is 2x plus 3 is equal to 4. What is negative 2x? Negative 2x is same way 4 minus 3, that is 1. And therefore x is equal to 1 by negative 2. So it will become negative 1 by 2. Okay, so this is, we can call it as fraction because this is a positive number 1 by 2. But this is negative 1 by 2. Can we call it as fraction? We cannot call it. So what is the difference between a fraction and this negative number? Yes. So fraction means if I'm taking a pen here, if can divide it into two parts, I can say that, okay, this is one part out of my two parts. But can you represent this negative 1 by 2 as a fraction? Negative, can you give me negative one piece of an apple or negative two pieces of pizza? Nobody can do. So we have to understand that fraction means it is what that is the basic difference between fraction and these type of numbers. And these type of numbers which are having either positive or negative fractional part as a numerator and denominator, we can generally call it as a rational number, which is smaller. Rational number. So another category is formed there. They are the rational number. Means we can represent it as a numerator by denominator. I'm taking just p by q. Numerator is p, denominator is q. And these can take p and q, both can take any value, positive and negative. Okay, so positive and negative value they can take, but they cannot take q value cannot be 0. If q value is 0, what will happen? It will become indefinite, or we cannot define, or invalid number it will be. So p and q can be integer numbers. Integer number means they can take negative as well as positive numbers, except the value of 0 you cannot take for q. That is the only difference. So what we have studied, the difference between fraction and rational number. So both we can represent as numerator by denominator. But here fraction only can take positive values. But rational number, they can take both positive and negative number. Even 0 is also a rational number. Why? 0 I can represent as 0 by 1. 0 by 1 is also 1, 0. 0 by 20, that is also 0. So 0 also, and 0, negative and positive numbers are rational numbers. But fraction means only positive numbers we can take. Because fraction means it is a part of a whole. Part of a whole. Any one part or two part out of the 3 or 4 part, we can represent it because it is a real thing. But rational number means it can either take negative, positive and 0 value. But the thing is that rational number, it is the ratio of p and q. Rational numbers are the numbers which we can express in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0. So these are the difference between fraction and rational number. You have to understand this basics. Clear? Okay. But there are different other numbers beyond the rational number category. Have you heard this pi? Yes, pi we generally, for the computation purpose, sometimes we will use 22 by 7, but actually it is not the correct value. And also we will put this 3.14 value also for pi, but actually 3.14 after even hundreds of thousands of decimal points, etc. Now also it is indefinitely going. So many numbers are there after. We cannot define it and we cannot conclude it. We cannot stop it. Suppose if I'm saying you 5 divided by 2. If you divide 5 and 2, what will be there? 2s are 4, 1 is taken down. You put a decimal. For that decimal, you put a 0 over here, and 2 5s are 10. You will get the remainder 0. Remainder 0 means this division is stopped. Okay, that means this 2.5 is also called as 5 by 2. Okay, you can revert back. 2.5 is also called as 5 by 2. That means 2.5 is also a rational number because it is a defined and it is a terminating decimal. We all will be dealing all these things detailed afterwards. Now I am just giving an introduction to you. Okay, terminating decimals are there. So these all are dealing with rational numbers. These all are rational numbers because they are ending. Rational numbers means p by q. 5 by 2 is also p by q. But in this case, pi 3.14, it is going and going and going. And if root 2, root 3 value 1.713, etc., 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 it is keeping on going and going. Root 5, 2.14, etc., etc., it is going. It does not have any end. So these type of endless number which are non-terminating, we can categorize it into another number. Now we have studied rational numbers. So these non-terminating numbers, these numbers, we can categorize into different form. They are called as the irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. Okay, the irrational numbers. So we can just have one more time the review of all those things which we have studied. So first what we have studied, natural number, then we have studied the whole number, then we have studied the, yes, integers, then we have studied the rational numbers. Now we have studied irrational number. So can we include that in any of this category? You cannot include. It is a separate phase which is called the irrational number, because all these numbers are defined, well defined, and it have a particular end. But these are the endless decimal going on, keeping on repeating. So these type of numbers will fall in the category of irrational numbers, and these together we can call it as the rational real numbers. Okay, these all we can represent it as the real numbers. This is our chapter topic. So this is irrational number. Example, root 2, root 3, pi value, etc., which are endless number. This is the natural number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., up to infinity. This is whole number, which is including a zero also. Yes. And this is integer numbers, which is negative, positive, zero value, all. And this is our rational number category. And this is irrational number. So both, all these together we can represent. So this rational number is represented by small r, and this real number we can call it as and represent it as the capital. So we have clearly studied regarding the real numbers. Now we are going to study the positive integer properties. Positive integer properties. So which are the positive integer properties we can deal with? Two topics are mainly covered in this chapter. One is the Euclid's division lemma, and second is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. In Euclid's division lemma, you will be studying how to find the HCF of larger numbers very easily. Okay, HCF of any larger two numbers you can find. Between two numbers, you can find the HCF. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic is purely dealing with any number, you can represent it as the product of its prime. Product of prime. You can represent any number as a product of prime regardless of the order. Regardless of order means if 2 into 2 into 3, you can write it as 2 into 3 into 2 also, or 3 into 2 into 2 also. We don't want to consider the order of factorization. You all will be knowing how to factor any number. If 72 is there, 2, 46. Like this, you know now how to go with this. So 2 into 2 into 23, you can either represent as 23 into 2 into 2. Any way you can represent. Without the order, you can represent. So this is dealing with Euclid division lemma, and second is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, coming into the positive integer category. First, we will study the Euclid's division lemma. What do you mean by lemma? Anybody know? Lemma, and have you heard of algorithm? Algorithm and lemma are two different things. Algorithm means a series of well defined steps you can perform to make a pure statement. Okay, lemma means a proven statement. Already it is proved. A proven statement to prove another one. So lemma is a proven statement. Algorithm means a series of well-defined steps. Okay, so that's the difference between them. So first is Euclid's division lemma. As it is there in your CBSE textbook, NCERT textbook, the second page of that, Euclid's division lemma. You have to consider a folk puzzle. A trader was moving along a road selling X. There is a question like that. So what he have done? So somebody have fallen his X, and they both have taken to a court or somewhere, and they were arguing. And at that, the trader got that the person who have made his X fall down, he wanted to give it back. But the trader didn't know how many was the total X. He only know that the X was not exceeding 150. Not exceeding 150 means it can be 150 or it can be less than 150. So we can say that X should be less than or equal to 1. Instead of X, I'm calling it as, I'm just giving a representation that is A. A is less than or equal to 1. That only we know. And some, as a folk puzzle, he have represented that. If counted in pairs, 1 will remain. Counted in pairs means what? This A does not have any change because we want to find the total number. Counted in pairs. Pairs means something should be multiplied with the 2. So anything means I'm just multiplying any number that is q. Suppose it is. Okay, any number I have taken. So counted in pairs, what is remaining? 1 is remaining. That means 1. 1 is also there. Counted in pairs and 1 is remaining. Next he said the puzzle. Counted in threes, 2 is remaining. Next he said counted in 4, 3 is remaining. Next he said counted in 5, 4 is remaining. Next he said counted in 6, what is remaining? 5 is remaining. Then he said when counted in sevens, nothing is remaining. Nothing is remaining means 0 is remaining. 0 remaining means what? The remainder is 0. That means this is a number which is purely divided by 7. Is it so? Yes, because 7 is multiple. When you divide with any number, the remainder should be 0. If we are taking for 150 divided by 7, do we get a number which is remainder 0? No, 7 is not purely divisible. 7 2s are 14 and 1 is remaining 7 1 and point something will come, means plus 3 is remaining again. 21 into 2 plus 3 is remaining. We cannot do that. 150. If I am dividing with 7, what will happen? 7. I said now that plus 3 only, remainder is 3. So we cannot deal with that. So we will take 149 and check. 149 if I am taking, what will happen? 2, then 1, but again 2 is remaining. I cannot take. So we have to go on with several numbers and we have to find the value. For the calculation purpose, I'm rubbing this. Okay. Any number you feel like near to so 147 we will take. Okay, so suppose 147 I'm taking. 147 if I'm dividing with 7, what will happen? 7 2s are, 7 1s are. I'm getting the remainder 0. But it does not mean that this is the actual value, because this particular number should satisfy all this equation. Okay, this is a number less than or equal to 150. That is satisfied. This is a number when divided with the 7, we are getting the remainder 0. That is also satisfied. But what will happen if you divide with the 2? Just check. 147 is divided with the 2. 2 7s are, 2 3s are. Okay. And what is remaining? Yes, 1 is remaining. That is also satisfied. If I am considering with 3, 147 if I am dividing with 3, what is happening? 3 4s are 12, 3 9s are. I am getting 0 remainder. It purely means that this is not satisfied. So I know that this 147 is not my answer. 147 egg is not there. So like this, we want to deal with all the numbers which are less than 7, less than 150, which is divisible by 7, and also have to satisfy all this category. So likewise, by trial and error method, I got my answer as 119. So can we check 117 divided by 7? How many times? 1 time and 7 times. I'm getting 1 0 remain. So this is satisfied. This is also satisfied. It is a number less than 150. So second case, if I'm dividing with the 2, what will happen? 2 5s are, then 2 9s are 18 and 1 is remaining. This is satisfied. Next, if I'm dividing with 3, what will happen? 3 3s are 9, 3 9s are 27 and 2 is remaining. This is also satisfied. 119 divided by 4. So 4 2s are 8, 3 is coming there. So 9 4s are 36 and 3 is remaining. This is also satisfied. As I don't have space, I'm rubbing this up. Okay, divided by 4. So 3 is 4. I got 3 remainder. Then again I'm dividing this with 5 because 5 divisible now 5. So 5 2s are, then 5 3s are 15 and 4 is remainder. So this is also satisfied. So only one we have to check more. Divided by 6 6 ones are, then 9 6 are 54 plus 5. This is also satisfied. So I come to know that which how many eggs are there in that basket? 190 eggs. Now you understood how to solve. So we have to do for this trial and error method. So you don't want to do every number like this. You can first to do by taking any number which is a multiple of 7 less than 150, like 147. Then again subtract by 7, you will get a number which is satisfying 7. So likewise you can select any numbers which is divisible by 7 less than 150 and you can check for any of this. So if it is not satisfied, you don't want to take. Likewise, I got the number of x as 190. Clear? So this is the way. So this is this thing, the way of doing this, the well-defined steps. This we can call it as algorithm. This series of well-defined steps we can call it as algorithm. And what I have proved out of this, let me know what I have proved out of this, children. This is some number. A is equal to any number. This is changing, keeping on changing. Any number. So I'm just taking it as B. And this is a fixed number Q. Any number which is multiplied by that. I want to get some reminder. I'm taking it as R. So this is called as the Euclid's division lemma. Lemma means now understood. From this algorithm, well-defined steps, I have came with the proven statement. By this proven statement, we can now further do the following steps. So this is called as what? The Euclid's division lemma. Understood? Okay. By doing further examples, you will be knowing what is actually that. Okay, so as I said, Euclid's division lemma will be Euclid's division lemma will be dealing with the finding the HCF of any two numbers. We can adopt this form. A is equal to BQ plus R for the same. If I'm asking you to find the HCF of, find the HCF of 455 and 42. How you will do this? So you first what you will understand, which is the higher number. That will be the A because we know the total will be A. It cannot be less. So which is the greater number? This 455. Therefore A is 455. So we know that 455 is equal to, we have to find the common factor. HCF means highest common factor. So for taking anything common, it should be a multiple of 42 obviously. So this will be our B now. So instead of B, I'm putting the value 42 into. So 42 into what plus remainder also should be there. So which number we can take as, if I'm taking 42 into 11, what will we get? What I will get? 462. It is exceeding my value. So I cannot take this 11. So if I'm taking 42 into 10, okay, 42 into 10 is what? 420. Then what is the balance? If I'm subtracting 420 out of this 455, 455 minus 420, what I'm getting? 35. So 455 is 42 into 10 plus 35. Okay. Now, now what I'm doing? Now I want to know about this divisibility. So I'm taking this value over here, that is 42 is equal to. So now I want again the common factor. So if I'm taking this 42, I want to know between the regarding of this 35. So this I'm taking here, this I'm taking here. So 35 into which number? 35 into only I can take 1. 35 into 1 plus, then what is remaining there? Only 7 is remaining there. So same step I'm going to repeat again. 35. This 35 now I'm taking it to the as a is equal to. This 7 I'm taking it as here B. 7 into what is 35? Everybody knows 7 into 5 is 35 plus 0. Now I got my remainder as 0. So we have to repeat this process till we get the remainder as 0. Because we know HCF means there should be a common factor. That means the remainder should be 0. Then only it will end. So in the last step of reminder, where in which I'm getting the B, that will be my HCF. Okay, in the last step, in which the value of B, here the value of B is what? 7. So 7 is the HCF of 455 and clear it is, everyone? Okay. Now we can do one more problem same way. Find the HCF of 4052 and 12576 by Euclid's division lemma. So same way we are comparing this, which is the greater number, this is the greater number. So this will be my A, obviously. So A equal to PQ plus R I'm dealing with. So my A will be what? 12576 is equal to 4052 multiplied by which number? How we will understand which number we can write it there clearly? Just to look, this is a 5-digit number, this is a 4-digit number. Okay, 3 you leave it. This 4, how many times in 12? 3 times it can be. And also maybe 3 or 2 it should be. Because if I'm taking 3, if it is exceeding the value of this, I cannot take. So I have to take 2. If it is not exceeding, I can take this 3 only. So I'm just, means for rough calculation only I have said this. 4 inside 12 3 times. So 3 plus, what is 4052 into 3? Just check. 4 3 is 12. So 12156 only. So what is the remaining number? If I'm subtracting, I'm getting 2 3 320. So plus 320. Now which is my next A? My 4052 I'm taking it here is equal to my 320 I'm taking it here. Sorry, this is actually for 5 minus 1, it is 4. I'm really sorry. So this is 420. Okay, so 420 I'm taking it here. 420 in multiplied by which number? If I'm taking 10, it will exceed, it will be 4200. So I know that I cannot take it. So multiplied by 9. So what is 420 multiplied by 9? 0, 9 2s are 18, 9 4s are 36 plus 1, 37. If I'm subtracting 4052, it will be 9, 7, then 2. It will be plus 272. Yes, plus 272. Now again, this 420 will be my A. 420 is equal to this 272 will be my B. 272 into 1 only I can take. Okay, because into 2 means it will exceed. Plus the balance will be 272. If I am subtracting, I will get 148. Now this 272 will be my A again. This 142 will come here. 148 into 1 plus what will be the answer? Remaining 148 minus here to 120. Again, this 148 I am taking 124 into 1 plus again 20. Now this 124 I am taking it here 24 into 5 plus 4. 24 into 5 is 120 and 120 plus. Now again I am taking 24 here. 24 is 4 into what? 6 plus 0. Now I got my last step as 0. Now my work is finished. So what I said before, whenever the last step I'm getting with the 0, the B answer will be the HCF. So what is the HCF of that? The HCF will be the number 4. So HCF of 4052 and 12576 is. In every examination you have to write the conclusion. Okay, at the last step you have to write HCF of 4052 and 12576 is equal to 4 and put it in a box. This is the way of answering any paper, any exam paper you have to answer it. Clear it is? Fine. Listen here, everybody, the main thing you have to deal with, if this is your paper of the examination, you have to divide it into one. You know that this is for writing the SL number, and the right hand side, it should be strictly there. This is for the rough calculation. And all those things, first question you are dealing with any HCF or something, you can do it here. You can do the multiplication related here, and you can write the answer and you can put underline. So this is the main. You can write the heading here, mathematics examination, whatever. And this is a way of representing any, if you are giving a class test also. So this will attract the view of a correct of a teacher, and she or he will be giving you the full marks regarding that. So everything should be neat and tidy. Means I'm not talking about the handwriting. Handwriting may be differ to each and every individual. Even though the handwriting is not good, also if you are writing it legibly and if you are doing all the step now, everybody will like it and everybody will give you the full marks for that. Understood? So this is the dealing with, so each and everything. If you are doing rough also at home, also you have to practice this rough work. Okay. So from tomorrow, we will be dealing with the balance examples and we will start doing the exercises. So just keep in touch with this. So if you want to, if you like this video, you can click the like button. And if you want to get the next videos, you have to click the bell button near the subscription after subscribing my channel. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day.